All right, so welcome and thank you to everyone for taking the time to join us today. My name is Derek Lukowitz. I'm the marketing lead here at the Donas Group. Joining me today is Jay Porras and Bob Donald. They will be your presenters for the bulk of the presentation. We're excited to show you the Acumatica software solution, but before get started, I've just got a couple of quick housekeeping items that I wanted to go over with you. First, I've placed all of the attendees on mute because we're going to be recording today's presentation. You'll still have the ability to interact with us by asking questions or raising your hand via the GoToWebinar interface. In fact, I might ask you to raise your hand throughout the course of the webinar just to make sure that we got you all still here and potentially use it as an opportunity to get some information from you along the way. But we've also set aside some time after Bob's demo to answer any questions that you might have. So please definitely don't be shy about that. So let's get the party moving here. So let's take a quick look at the agenda, and I'll set up some expectations for the conversation today. As you can see here, Jay will be taking you through a little bit about the Donas Group, as well as run through a few slides on who Acumatica is and some key points about their solutions. He'll then hand off things to Bob, who'll be running you through an overview demo of some of Acumatica's features and functions. When Bob wraps up, I'll jump back on and go through your guys' questions. And then we'll just go ahead and close things out and everything should be good. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch things over to Jay, and we will begin this presentation. All right, Jay, you've got the ball.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Since 1996, the Donas Group has been working with a wide variety of customers in many industries. We attribute our longevity to our commitment to staying current with technologies and certifications. This has allowed us to support and service our customers and develop long-term relationships. Acumatica has always been in the forefront of digital transformation. Digital transformation consists of using new, fast, and frequently changing technology to solve problems. This is what Acumatica has been doing for over a decade now. However, modern technology is not all it takes. You must continually update your people and processes through education, training, etc. Technical, through utilizing innovative platforms and software. People, through training and education program offerings such as Open University. Here are some of Acumatica customer comments. You'll notice the digital transformation theme is key to success in many of the testimonials. Developed for resilient businesses, Acumatica Cloud ERP is the most usable, adaptable, and affordable business management solution available today. Built for mobile and telework scenarios, it easily integrates with the collaboration tools of your choice. Acumatica delivers flexibility, efficiency, and continuity of operations to growing small and mid-market organizations. Acumatica is tailor-made for mid-market growth businesses. The scalable, intuitive tools give you one solution to run your entire business, delivering automation without complexity, compliance without rigidity. In addition, intelligent, industry-focused business functionality with the mission-critical capabilities and productivity aids round out the product. Features like scheduling and dispatching, route planning, and service contract management, Acumatica Field Service provides a complete tool to manage your service activities. The e-commerce solution tightly integrates financials, sales, inventory, CRM, and fulfillment systems with popular e-commerce platforms. The Construction Edition keeps your team on the same page with a core system that has the latest tools that cover all your construction needs. Distribution Edition consists of applications required to meet the challenges of today's distributors. Manufacturing Edition provides planning and control for the manufacturing environment. The Acumatica mobile application is built with responsive, adaptive design, which automatically resizes the screens to fit the available space on your smart device. The mobile application interacts in real time with your Acumatica software, keeping all activities current. From core products through industry editions, Acumatica is the only ERP system that can seamlessly move across any or all of these modules in a single uninterrupted workflow. The future-proof platform was developed by Acumatica is one of the world's best cloud and mobile technology offerings. This development platform has been chosen by many software developers as it allows for rapid deployment of new functionality within the product and keeps your investment truly future-proof. Open architecture provides ease and rapid integration with many of today's popular add-ons, as you can see here. Leading research firm IDC, who focuses in the tech landscape, has named Acumatica a leader in mid-market ERP, which included over 23 other ERP offerings. John Roskill, CEO of Acumatica, attributes this to the investment that Acumatica has made in delivering a product that is innovative and high on customer usability scale. Modern user interface and flexible workflows are why Acumatica is consistently ranked high in usability by a number of IT analysts, including Nucleus Research. In the 10+ years of Acumatica's existence, they have averaged 700 customers a year, or about 2 a day. Acumatica is committed to customer success. Acumatica's Net Promoter Score is quite commendable. The Net Promoter Score gauges the loyalty of a firm's customer relationships and ranges between -100 and +100. A +50 is considered excellent. Examples of other companies: Starbucks comes in at 45, Coca-Cola comes in at a +8. NPS plus Acumatica's high support satisfaction are why Acumatica is the fastest growing cloud ERP company. Around 92% of Acumatica installs are within the cloud. Acumatica partners with Amazon Web Services, AWS, and Microsoft Azure. This is because they are considered the best cloud platforms in the world. They demonstrate unparalleled robust uptime, and with geo-redundancy, your data is securely backed up to multiple locations in the country or even across the globe. Acumatica is extremely robust in terms of security. The physical security and AWS data centers, along with role-based access within Acumatica, provide the secure access individual users need. Two-factor authentication provides added security measures within Acumatica should you choose to utilize it. Out-of-the-box generic inquiries and changeable no-code custom reports are very robust and can handle most reporting needs. However, more advanced or alternative approaches are also available should you require through independent software vendors or ISVs. With internet availability, you can connect to your system with many of today's interactive devices. Whether desktop, smartphone, laptop, or even Alexa, you are able to access and work from the location of your choice. Unlike other ERP offerings, Acumatica has multiple deployment options to meet your organization requirements. They include SaaS, software as a service, which is hosted in the cloud and is offered on a subscription basis. AWS is Acumatica's preferred public cloud platform. Private cloud is also subscription-based, and here you host the applications where you want, on-premise, third-party, it's your choice. The third option is the perpetual traditional method, and here you purchase the software upfront and pay an annual maintenance fee. You have the ability to move between options should you require. There's no per-seat premium, so your technology can scale with your business instead of being a drag on your growth. Every authorized person can access, create, and receive the information they need to drive business, regardless of whether they are frequent or casual users, internal employees, external vendors, partners, or customers. With Acumatica's flexible consumption-based licensing plans, you only pay for the computing power you need. Our pricing is designed to be stable and predictable, geared to your growth. Unlike other ERP vendors who lock you into their data center, Acumatica lets you decide where to host your data, on the public cloud, in a private cloud, or on-premise. With Acumatica, your data is always secure and always in your hands. You can do a full relational database export at any time, not just flat files like others. You also have the ability to take it anywhere you desire. Acumatica believes that the more everyone knows about the system, the better and more complete the information provided. Open University is a comprehensive online training program. User guides are for self-paced learning. Job aids provide step-by-step how-to instructions. Training is not a profit center for Acumatica as it is for many, if not all, of our competitors. Acumatica is committed to customer relationships. Here you see the core of our customer-friendly business practices, treating customers like long-term partners in joint success. And now I'll pass this over to Bob, who will provide an overview of the product. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. I'd like to say welcome to the Acumatica Lunch and Learn event. I'm very excited to walk you through a high-level demonstration of the Acumatica ERP product. Acumatica has been and is in the forefront of ERP development for the cloud. This product was written specifically for the cloud. It's not a legacy software product that had a facelift to make it cloud compatible. It was written specifically for the cloud. Of the employees at Acumatica, fully 75% are dedicated to development of the product. They rely specifically on companies like the Donas Group to sell and install their product. ERP, in my opinion, is an outdated term. It's really business management software. Acumatica is the database that acts as the single source of truth for your business, from the front office to the back office. You will have access to Acumatica anywhere that you have access to an internet browser, because everything is browser-based. We are completely role-based, so each one of the users that accesses Acumatica has security-driven permissions. For instance, nobody from the sales team, for example, is usually touching financial statements and vice versa. So based on their role, you can determine what they see and what they have access to. We also are able to fully support multiple companies, multiple branches, and multiple currencies. For instance, in this environment, I am using, let's see, I've got 3 companies and 4 branches in this particular environment. We have a powerful tool. It's called Universal Search, kind of like the wiki search for Acumatica. In the search box, you can virtually type in anything, and it'll go out and find what within Acumatica is involved in your keyword. For instance, if I go in and I type in 1099, it'll come back and throw a couple of things at me right away. First thing is it'll say, these are the menu items that are available to me that have 1099 associated with it. If I had any transactions, they would be displaying here as well. Or in fact, these are some of the transactions that are outstanding on the system. Under help topics, there's an extensive help topic system within Acumatica, and it basically lists all of the available helps that are tied to that 1099. And if there are any files that were waiting to go out, it would then show them here as well. We organize our software back here based on the concept of workspaces. So over on the left-hand side, you'll see all these different menu items. These are where we group all the business processes together. When I talked earlier about roles within the system, for instance, if you're an accounts payable person, you're not going to be looking at time and expense and finance and projects and configurations. You'll only see those items which are applicable to your particular role that's been defined within the system. The workspaces are very intuitive. I'll go to payables, for instance. When we break them down into transactions, profiles, processes, inquiries, and so on, this is what's called the quick menu. It's the items that you go to every time you go into this particular screen. It's very easy to modify this report. For instance, I'm looking at the reports. There's probably, it looks like around 10 reports there. If I go to show full menu, you'll actually see that there's quite a few more reports behind there. If for some reason I didn't want to see all of those reports, you have the ability to go in and actually do maintenance on the screen. And let's say I take off, I only want to see the first 4, let's say. Now all of a sudden my report only shows the 4 reports that I chose. We also have these little tiles that are up here. These are shortcuts directly into the software applications as well. We also have the ability to add things to what are called your favorites. So that you can actually pick something as an item, and I'll go into favorites as well. Acumatica, it really does have, it prides itself in the concept of low code or no code within the system. We're making all kinds of changes. I haven't touched a line of code within the system. No reason to call a programmer. This is all controlled by the user. I should also note that any of the changes that are made are tied to that role. So your screen becomes your screen and nobody else sees the changes that you've made. Workspaces are that example of usability and personalization. So let's say I'm on the finance team, and I'm constantly entering transactions or running a profit and loss report. My transactions are over here. My profit and loss report is over here. If I click the little star next to each of those items, I've now flagged those items as my favorites. So if I go to the favorites bar, all of a sudden under finance, here are my 2 items that I've just selected, and it allows me to go directly into them. Again, one more time, personalizing the system based on the user and that user's preferences. Front and center on here, as you probably noticed, this is the Acumatica Dashboard. The dashboard is made up of multiple reports. In this particular case, each one of these boxes is actually a report behind the scenes. I mean, every one of these can be added, subtracted, changed. You can always add items to the report. What's nice is that within it, there's logic within each one to give you that, what they call business intelligence for your organization. It's more than just running a report though. It's having the multiple strategies to have the tools at your fingertips to analyze your data the way you want to. A dashboard is a critical example of that. When we talk about connected workspaces, we talk about usability. Dashboards provide notifications in real time as to what's happening within Acumatica. If I jump over to the customer view, for example, here we're looking at the customer view dashboard, and this is giving me a real-time access to drill into any of this information that's being presented. So of course it's got things like late orders, orders to be shipped, open opportunities, and so on. If I want to know what the detail of that is, I just have to click in that box, and it comes back and gives me a listing of everything that made up that particular rule that generated that particular box. Even you noticed earlier, let me go back there. These are all, let's go to the customer back again. Things are color coded. You have control of what those colors mean. So, you know, green, orders to ship, they're normal. Red is something I have to do something about. Under, for instance, in this total credits extended, I'm hitting where the level that I think I need to start looking at it to see if $9 million is enough to have out there. What's nice, again, I can drill into all of this detail. We've got support cases. These are all what are called widgets that we've added to the system. One of the things that's also on this dashboard is you can see this thing, like I'll pick on this pie chart. The pie charts are made up of a lot of different information, but if you notice there's a little legend in the corner here. If I click on the legend, it actually tells me what makes up all the things that are within the pie chart. And I can actually add or subtract items real time to change the way that particular bar chart looks, or in this case, it's a pie chart. This and a number of other features are what really gives us the ability to win some of the awards that Acumatica is continuing to receive as we move forward. Being able to utilize these dashboard analytics, we also want to be able to design the dashboard analytics. So one more time, without calling a developer, I can design this dashboard and I can start to move items around. For instance, I go into design mode, and I didn't like where a particular box was. I can actually I can move them back and forth wherever I want to. So you can just drag and drop the tiles. You can resize them, anything that you want within the system. You can create new data here as well. For instance, down here, here's a tile that I created just before we started, before our presentation. It's just a simple query into the data with automatic links to drop in detail from line items on the report. One more example, again, of how Acumatica can provide a true user-friendly ERP to make these types of dashboard changes without needing to learn extensive coding or extensive programming to do so. One of the nice things of putting these queries together is it utilizes plain English commands and turns them into data commands behind the scenes. So if people can understand things like is not equal to or contains, those are the very simple algebraic reasons to create particular reports. Each one of these dashboard tiles has that genetic inquiry, and internally behind the scenes, it's almost like a SQL command if you're familiar with SQL. And again, I need to stress this more every time. It allows us to bypass the need to create a custom report every time we need unique analytics. So for instance, let me get out of design. If I look at opportunities, this basically is a generic inquiry. I've told it some of the rules. It's got some dates, some color codings. What's nice is that across the top, these are all custom user-generated versions of this particular data. So I can look at all the ones that are won, all the ones that were lost, anything that was unassigned, for instance. It'll tell me right now I've got 2 opportunities, which ties back into our CRM system, of items that have not been assigned to a particular salesperson. And what's nice is if I can generate the inquiry, if I like it, I can save it and it becomes part of the tab, or I can just run it the one time. The other thing that I can do is I have the ability to export it directly to Excel. So if it's something that I need to send as part of another parcel of information, I can put it to Excel and I can actually do more changes to it there. You can see here that we filtered the inquiry based on certain conditions. I go back to all. As you'll see, I filtered it in such a way that anything that is under the status column, anything that's blue is a 1 situation. So I've asked all to show all of them. And any opportunities that don't have an owner will show up as well, which we looked at before. As a sales manager or as a salesperson, when I come to the screen, I immediately know which opportunities need to be assigned, and I immediately know which are late, and I immediately know the ones that have been won by getting that visual cue from the colors. Again, this is all in real time, so as something happens, as somebody adds an opportunity or deletes an opportunity, it'll affect this particular screen. Beyond just the type of color coding or conditional highlighting, as we call it, you can create as many filters off these inquiries as you'd like. So for example, like I mentioned earlier, I'm seeing these tabs across the top of the screen. What opportunities have been won, which were lost, which we need to have been nurtured in the last 90 days. And those filters, again, very easy to create. When I'm on this records tab, I can use the column sorts. I can take the items that I'm interested in filtering on. So let's say status. I can say clear all, and I want to look at 1. It now just sorts them down and shows me all the ones with a 1 status. So in just 2 clicks, I've just created a brand new report. Now perhaps I want to reuse this filter. That's what I mentioned earlier. We can actually then turn this around and actually save this as a brand new inquiry within the system. It's one of the things is I think as working with this product, I found that Acumatica it's very, very intuitive and easy to get inside of the data. It's constantly giving the user the power to create their own analytics and make their own decisions. And again, on Monday, you may want to look at the data a certain format, but on Wednesday, same database, but you need to look at it a slightly different way. Not a big deal. You just go in, answer the questions to the query, and you've got a new report. Keeping on the concept of this very user-friendly ERP, you'll see that you have the ability to modify columns, fields, etc. So from this generic inquiry that I'm looking at, if maybe the status column is the most important to me, I can grab that column and just move it all the way over to the front. And it now becomes part of this. And it remembers that as part of my view. And let's say that there's more columns than I really want to see on the report. Because if you notice, it's got the bar on the bottom. There's an extra column out here. It's called last outgoing activity. Let's say I don't want that particular column or any column on the report. I have the ability to go in and define these are the selected columns that are on the report. These are the ones that are still available that I have not added to the report. In my case, I'm going to grab this last outgoing activity, send it back to the custom configuration of available columns, click OK, and all of a sudden you notice that the bar is now gone and that column is gone. It's not lost, it's just not on the view that I'm particularly looking at. So allowing the user to have an easier look and feel, to be more efficient on the data. This is consistent, by the way, throughout Acumatica ERP. Every single data query has the exact same features. So let me go back to the customer dashboard. We talked a lot about dashboard notifications, but I think notifications are another very important piece of what Acumatica brings into consideration. Besides the dashboard notifications, we can also provide automatic email notifications. Every time you get assigned to a support case, you can automatically receive an email in your inbox with that case number and link to that case. We can send push notifications and SMS or text messages to any mobile device. There are so many different ways that you can be informed about what's actually occurring within Acumatica. So you can't say, I never saw that, I didn't get it. It's automatically sent to a person's phone, whether they're in the office, in the field, in their car, doesn't matter. Now I'll show you an example of this. I'm going to go back over to my favorites and go over to business events. And I'm going to pick this one here, opportunity. What this is we set up an activation that says whenever an opportunity is assigned to a salesperson, notify that salesperson. So basically what it was is new field value when the opportunity, when the owner is not null, which means when it goes from blank to a name, you want to take some action. So in this example, we're saying every time the opportunity has a salesman assigned to it, we want to send a notification out. So we look at the trigger conditions, and anytime a new field value and the owner ID field is no longer empty, we send out the notification. Again, this can be a push notification, email, or so on. So if I look at subscribers, for instance, if I click on the email one, let's see. Whoop. Oh, I was looking for my template for look at this mobile. What this is showing me is if it does the push to the phone, what the message is going to look like. It's going to say the opportunity, which gives you the opportunity number, has been assigned to you with a prospect with the account name. What's nice about this is in both the email and in the text sent to the phone, they're basically hot links. So if you're reading the email, you can click on the hot link. It'll take you directly into that particular opportunity within Acumatica, and then you can follow up with it. Or if it's on your phone as a text, you can click that. It'll take you directly into Acumatica and allow you to follow up at that point as well. One of the things we keep talking about and you keep hearing is the phones. One of the things I'm going to show you, I've got a little application that allows me to basically mirror what I'm seeing on my phone. So let me fire that up for us. And what we see here is the mobile app that's available from Acumatica through the Apple Store. And basically, all of the features that you see on the phone, and this is also available on, ThinkPads and things like that. Everything that you see here are applications within Acumatica. So for instance, I'll pick on a real obvious one. If I go to expense claims, for instance, it's going out and it's actually querying the database. And somebody put in an expense for hotel for training. Here it keeps track of who it was, the date, what they were doing, what the costs were, any taxes associated with it. And you'll see way down at the bottom where you see files and the number 1, where you can actually use your phone to take a picture of the receipt. So it actually becomes part of the record, and it's also in Acumatica as well. So it's actually, that's why it's reading directly from the Acumatica database. The other things that you can do, for instance, I'll pick on field service. Field service, if you notice, it's got its own dashboard. Now I've got nothing set up within field service at the moment, but you can actually have all these functions within field service. So within field service, for instance, when you've got your laptop or your phone or whatever you're working with, you can actually look at the job that you're working with. You can actually record time against it. So for instance, if you're traveling out to a job, one of the functions within field services, you can say start travel. So when you hit the start travel button, it starts counting the time and capturing it. When you arrive at your destination, you hit arrive at destination. You can tie into the GPS in your device, and it'll actually verify that that's where you say that you are. And then you can click Start Job. And then what'll happen at that point, it starts recording the time. So as you're working on it, all you have to remember at the end of the job is to say Stop Job, and you're done with it. It also has some neat features in it, like rather than having somebody sign some paperwork and so on, you actually have the ability to put your signature on the screen itself. And depending on how you collect payments on field service, they can actually pay right then and there with a credit card within the system. So everything you can do, if you were in the office on Acumatica, you can do out in the field as long as you have access through your phone. If you notice that you can do purchase orders, time cards, you can look up sales orders. One of the neat things on the field service, for instance, is if your technician is out in the field and they decide and they find out that they need a part that they didn't put in the truck, you have two choices. One of them is I can just run down to the hardware store, get the part. They can scan the receipt. It becomes part of the project. If it's something that is purchased from a vendor, they can actually, from the field, enter a purchase order, which has to be approved by a purchasing approver, but they can actually enter that purchase order to have it delivered to the work site, hopefully within the next day or two. So in other words, what they do there is they stop the job, enter the purchase order, leave, come back when it's done, restart the job, and continue on with it. So they can do everything from their mobile device. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on the mobile devices. Within Acumatica has hundreds of standard reports that come out of the box from the system that are already there. Whether it be financial statements or open order reports or cash receipts reports, everything, it's all standard, and you have the ability to then add as many as you want. If I go to the financial workspace, there's a number of financial statements that are here. If I run, for example, if I go to the balance sheet, pretty common one, and just say run the report, that basically, it's, as you look at it, it's pretty much a standard balance sheet. Common statement, everybody's used to seeing. So whenever I want to run this, it's just 2 clicks and bam, I'm right to the balance sheet. You can also set the parameters on this report. So if you'd just like to view a particular date range or financial period, you're perfectly welcome to do so. Now on this report, just like the dashboards, we have drill down capabilities. So that I'll be able to get into the total numbers of everything that's on here. So for instance, if I want to look at accounts payable, see the little hand with the finger, and I click on it, it'll actually take me to the ledger detail that generated that information. And I can actually drill down in further into the actual information. So from an audit standpoint, you can basically drill down to the actual transaction that generated a particular item. So it's, from an auditing standpoint, it's actually pretty nice. You can print these reports out. You can send them via email within the system, or you can export them to Excel or PDF. You can also group these reports in a number of ways. This report happens to be broken down by the branches that I talked about earlier. So if I'd just like to see a balance sheet for my services on the East branch, all I have to do is select that branch. So I would go into here. This allows me to then set which template I want to use, which ledger I'm going to use, and the date. And then here, I can then tell it, I only want I got it for all products. So I'm actually, right now I've got it set up as a balance sheet to be based on products. What I really want to do if I wanted to just see consumer goods, for instance, there's the report. So I can set it up to be a balance sheet based on products. I can set it up to be on locations. And again, it's not a permanent save of the report. It's just a version of the view of that particular data. Or if I say all products, it now changes back to what I wanted to see. We do supply 2 report designers within Acumatica. One is what we've been working with here. It's similar. I don't want to say it's the same like an FRX type thing, but it's similar to something like that. And it's used for all the financial reporting. We also have a report writer that is similar to Crystal, which allows you to do all the reports and forms. I mentioned this before because there are 2 different reports, very easy to use in terms of usability. It's all English-driven controls. This at this point takes me to the end of the features that I was going to be showing at this point. Thank you all for joining us. If you're interested in setting up follow-up demonstrations, would like to dive deeper into some of the different areas, please let us know. We'll be happy to set that up with you. And take it away, Derek.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. Great job too, by the way. So hey, everybody, let's all. I was messing with you earlier about raising your hand. So use the raise your hand function in there, so we can all give Bob a virtual high five for his awesome demo that he did. I think every time I see this thing, Acumatica in action, it still never ceases to amaze me how intuitive it can be, and I can't wait to see how some of the new AI machine learning functions that are coming in the new version are going to just simplify the AP process and the workflows. I mean, this thing just keeps getting better and better, and I'm constantly amazed. So let me switch back over to my presentation for you, and we'll get to start wrapping things up. So real quick. Not liking me. All right, so back in presenter mode for you, Echo. So great, let's go ahead and start up with those questions. We did get a couple that came in. I know we're cutting pretty tight on time, so we'll try to keep it pretty streamlined. The first one that we had come in was related to the e-commerce piece of it. Do we know if EPI servers are in that list of servers? And I wasn't sure of that off the top of my own head. But I'm not as in the weeds with it as some of these other guys. Jay, do you know the answer to that potentially?
Actually, I am not sure. I will definitely take a look at that on the EPI server and certainly respond back on that.
Okay, yeah, we'll reach back out to you. We know who you are, so we'll get the answer for you to that, and we'll definitely get back to you on that one as well. So the next question that came in was, how many levels can go into the bill of materials? Bob, I'm going to go ahead and throw that one to you since Jay just answered the last one.
Okay. Well, actually, we didn't really talk about bills of material, but actually, it's virtually unlimited. Normally, I don't see anybody go past 11. I know that it goes to 99, but generally in the working world, 11 is probably is a working level.
Okay, cool. Next one was interesting that the licensing model is transactional versus user-based. 2020 hasn't exactly been a banner year for us, so how would that work out for us? I'm assuming they're asking, their number of transactions are probably down this year over how they've historically been, or how they're hoping to be in the future. So I think they're probably asking around that. Jay, can you potentially elaborate on that?
Yeah, the way that transactions, the pricing is set up is it's really based on commercial transactions. And there, what we do is we take the largest number of monthly activity in 8 areas, that being sales orders or shipments, accounts receivable invoices, customer payments, purchase orders and PO receipts, AP invoices, as well as checks or AP payments. And we make a determination as to what the largest amount is in that categories, any of those, and that makes a determination as to what the pricing level would be for Acumatica. Now, when we do that, we also kind of put some room in there for growth. So we don't want to just have it at let's say if you got 1,000 transactions as your highest number, to say, okay, that's what we're going to put you at. You at least want to give 1.5 times so that you can kind of gain that growth. If your pricing is different, you can always say, all right, 2020 has not been a good year. Let's determine what your level is right now, and you can change that as time goes on. You can increase, as you need to, as well as if you need to decrease, that can be done as well.
Okay, cool, awesome. And again, kind of in the interest of time, I've got one more here, and then we'll get things wrapped up since we started a little bit late. So the last question is, how long does an average implementation take? It's kind of a tough question because everybody's scenario is different, but Jay, can you kind of jump in there?
Sure, and definitely it is. Everybody is different, and a lot of it depends upon the involvement really on the user side, because if you've got high involvement, it's probably going to go a lot faster. If we have to keep going over things, which sometimes that does happen, it can extend out. But you're probably looking at maybe 6 to 9 months for an average implementation.
All right, awesome. So I know there's a couple of other questions in the queue, but I will reach back out to you guys individually to get those answers to you. I wanted to go ahead and keep the ball moving here and move forward. So I wanted to say, watching the registrations for this come in, I loved seeing such a great mix of new and familiar faces, well, virtual faces, I guess, in the audience today. Donas Group definitely prides itself on being a trusted advisor and partner to all of you. As such, we strive to post a lot of original content and be responsive to current topics and such, and become a useful resource for you guys, either via our website or through our newsletters, all our social media accounts. I don't know if you're aware, but we're in Twitter and LinkedIn and all these other places, and we're constantly active in there and pushing out all kinds of new content. So we're not spamming you, but we're out there and we're available, right? So that said, I definitely want to encourage you guys to, if you're looking to do a discovery or an additional demonstration as it pertains to your individual businesses, please reach out. There's these ERP solutions are pretty robust and can be a little daunting, but we've been doing this for a long time, like Jay said, and so we're definitely here to lean on us to be your partner and your subject matter experts and your consultants from that perspective. If you are not already, please subscribe to our newsletters. If you're not sure how to do that, just reach out to me directly. I know I've emailed you all earlier today. Happy to help you get set up on that. Again, check out our evergreen and all of our content that's on Donas. We're constantly building that out, trying to turn it into a one-stop shop for all of you guys. These webinars that we're doing are showing up on there as recordings as well. So definitely stay tuned to all of these resources. We're going to keep pushing out these lunch and learns. We'd love to start doing in-person events, but things being what they are, it's kind of a question mark right now. So that's why we're doing all of these virtually. That said, the lunch thing, I had one last piece of administrative stuff, and then I'll let y'all go. I know that a couple of folks had brought to my attention that the Grubhub vouchers were showing up a little delayed, and I've tried to take care of you guys as quickly as I can during the course of this webinar. But if you haven't received any notifications or having complications, please reach out to me, and I'll get you set up, make sure that everything was good to go from that perspective. So that said, we've obviously reached our time, but we hope that this was an informative and good use of your time. Thank you for your attending, and hope you have a great afternoon and enjoy your lunches. Thanks very much.